Unless I educate myself with some truth, I will not develop anything to change it. Truth about love. So one truth about love is this. No one has to give you love. Not a single person has to give you any love. By definition, if they had to, it would not be love anymore. So nobody has to love you. Now imagine if you actually, at the emotional core of you, actually work through that feeling that people should love you. And realise that it was a sin to feel that they should. They don't have to. And you actually started to feel that it was a sin that you were projecting at other people that they had to love you. Imagine that. Can you see, if you felt the sin that they had to love you, you would then feel that you're letting everybody off the hook for loving you. You would go through some quite big emotions about the fact that love doesn't have demands, right? And in the process of going through those emotions, you're letting go of false beliefs about love. One of those false beliefs would be love hurts, but love's only hurting if you look at the depth of this belief.
Yeah.
This is not the real belief. The real belief is that I can demand love.
Yeah, that's the flip side, isn't it?
When you say the flip side, it's the driving force of that.
People are going to hurt me, but I can demand love.
Well, the way you're saying it is even incorrect. And this is very interesting because I have conversations with people all the time, and they say they think that what I'm saying is what they're thinking, but no, it's actually worse than this. The belief I have that I can demand love creates love hurting. Do you understand how? If I demand love and then love isn't given,
That's what hurts.
now I'm going to hurt. But if I see love as a gift, when somebody stops giving it, I don't feel hurt. I just say, thank you very much for the love you gave me the last 20 years. And you don't have to love me now. You can go and love somebody else if that's what you want to do. Do you understand? A person who demands love doesn't feel that way. A person who demands love goes, you've got to marry me. You're with me till death do we part. Right? It's written in the vows. To death we, you know. And you think about that. I'm actually saying, in that very vow is saying, I demand that you love me until I die. Of course, it's really interesting. Even that comment is, when I die, I won't care anymore. That's not true either. Because if I wanted to love me till I die, I'm going to want it to love me after I die too. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
I'm going to demand that from her even after I die, because I'll actually still be alive. And so I'm going to continue demanding it. That makes sense to you? So here I am in the state where I've had a contract with Mary. It's written here. Can you see this document? It's horrible, right? We were talking to the minister last week, you know, who interviewed me for a position of being Jesus, and he was saying, "Are you two married?" I go, "So now this is a part of my job position too. I have to be married to Mary." And I said, "Well, yes, Mary and I are married. We were married in the first century, but it doesn't matter to me, because what matters is, does she love me in her heart? And if she doesn't, she shouldn't be with me. Simple as that. And if I don't love her in my heart, I shouldn't be with her either." In fact, the Bible even says that, interestingly enough. But most people ignore it because they're more focused on the marriage, like the contract. And the reason why they focus on the contract is because they have the false belief. I can demand love. I can demand that you love me for the rest of my existence. Many of you have that demand going to your soulmates, that you can demand that they love you for the rest of your existence. That's why you haven't met them yet, one reason. Because it's a demand, it's unloving. Right? It repels people. If I demand that Mary loves me for the rest of my existence, I am not going to actually ever appreciate the love she actually gives me. Because I believe that she should have given it to me anyway. Right?
It's the same way with God, isn't it?
It's the same way with God. We often have the same projection of God. God, you say God loves me, then God should love me now, no matter what I do, no matter what I feel, no matter what I think, no matter what actions I take, the personal love should still keep coming. But love, God's love is a gift. When we demand it, we're saying it's not a gift, it's an expectation. And now we're not even understanding love at all, because a part of love is that it's a gift. You know, one of the very fundamental truths about love we're not facing. So the fundamental truth that we need to get an aspiration for here is that love is a gift. That's the truth. And here my belief is it's not a gift. I can demand it from somebody who says they love me for the rest of their existence. I can demand it. So we often hear from people saying, but my parents should have loved me. I'm sorry. They don't have to. Love is a gift. So they don't have to love you. Of course, we acknowledge the fact that they may not have has caused problems for you. But the fact that you demand it from them now is also your problem. Because you're out of harmony with love believing this. Make sense? So I can demand love drives the whole idea that love hurts. And that drives the whole idea that I can protect myself from it. So can you see, we're often not even anywhere near the core problem, even when we feel a certain thing. So I'm crying, I'm feeling my emotion, love hurts, oh, it was terrible. You know, Mary left me. You know, she left me for some guy down the road. Isn't it terrible? And so I'm crying, you know, about how bad it is. And every time I think of Mary, I just feel like crying again. And then every time I think about loving somebody else, I just go, oh, but I want Mary, you know, but she doesn't want me. And isn't it terrible? And, you know, so I'm crying. So I'm in this love hurts place, which is actually just a reinforcement of my false belief. Right? And so after I feel that long enough, generally, because nothing's getting released,
Then don't you?
I then develop this.
Yeah.
This other false belief.
To protect myself from love.
I'm going to protect myself from people loving me in the future.
But have you kind of nailed it the start of the process before when you said I have to connect to the pain of having the belief that love hurts? Because that's the start of this process, is it not?
Right, that would be the truth.
This belief is actually creating pain, not love. The belief is. Yeah.
But what we often do is the opposite to that.
Yeah.
When we're feeling the emotion, we're not feeling the love hurts belief is the thing causing me pain. We're often saying to ourselves, love does hurt. That's why I'm in pain. Which is not the same thing. We're saying two completely different things, logically. Right. And then we take it even further and we go, let's create another false belief to support the fact that my earlier false belief was too painful to feel. So now we've created a layer of false beliefs upon other false beliefs. Right? And people do this all the time. All the time. So we get a layer and another layer and another layer, and now when we say let's, and then we hear divine truth and we go, oh, we've got to feel our painful emotion. So you know what happens? I start feeling my painful emotion that love hurts. So I feel that. I feel that a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. Let's say I'm humble enough to even feel it for that amount of time. After 3 or 4 months of feeling it, let's say you're crying every day about love hurting for 4 months. Huh? And then you get to the point where you realise that actually nothing's changing. Nothing's changing. And at that point you can take 2 different directions. You can go, well, let's create the belief that supports me not feeling that hurt anymore, which is this one saying, I want to avoid this one by creating this one. I want to avoid love hurts by creating protection. If I create the protection, then I won't have to feel love hurts anymore, because I won't ever be in love again. Does that make sense? And so we create this one. So that's one direction we can take. That's an aspiration to avoid the painful emotion that we're feeling. It's a negative aspiration. It's going to lead us to a darker condition with less love in our lives. But we don't see it like that. We think it's protecting us, it's helping us. So we create it and we live in it. So that's one way. The other way is to come to the truth, which is, I think that I can demand love. And so when this person loved me and then they stopped loving me, instead of thanking them for loving me for a period of time, I'm angry with them for stopping loving me, which meant that I demanded that they love me, which meant that I didn't really understand love in the first place. Make sense? And when I start realising that, I go, what is the true belief? See, up until this point, I haven't considered what the true belief is emotionally, because I'm so embroiled in love hurts in that false belief, and then embroiled in maybe protecting myself from love because it hurts so much. I haven't even considered that the whole reason why I'm in the pain of love hurting is because of my own false belief about love. I haven't even considered that. I've just dismissed that out of hand. Right? But now that I can see, I can demand love, and I go, let's look at the truth. Logically, so truthfully, is love something you can demand? When you start analysing that, you go, if I'm demanding it, then I'm not going to appreciate it as love. And also, love is a gift. It's a feeling somebody can have for me or choose not to. The fact that I'm demanding it is against the concept of free will, in that somebody can love me one moment, so it's against free will. It's saying, free will says somebody can love you today and they're allowed to not love you tomorrow. They're allowed to. Because love is a gift. So they're allowed to not love you tomorrow. But I'm thinking, no, that's not true. I want the contract. I want the marriage signed, sealed and delivered. I need the marriage. You look in your country, and in ours too, how many young women in particular aspire to be married? What does a marriage mean? It means that you're guaranteed you won't get hurt by somebody not loving you anymore. That's what they want. They want to, this belief, to retain this belief, to be guaranteed that there's no future possible withdrawal of love. But to give that guarantee, you'd have to not have will. Mm-hmm. People are allowed to choose to do what they want with their loves. And if one day they want to love you and then the next day they want to love Mary instead, they're allowed to do that, if that's what they want to do. Right? It's not even a sin for them to do that. It's not even a sin for them to one day love you and the next day love somebody else. Because their love is a gift and they're allowed to give it to whomever they want. Right? So it's not a sin for them to love someone else. And also, loves are not mutually exclusive. When I say loves, I'm not talking about romantic love now. I'm talking about other loves are not mutually exclusive. Romantic love has been designed to be mutually exclusive. But other loves have not been. Right? So what I mean by that is, romantic love, God designed through, remember we went through the design of the soul here, and we said the design of the soul was two halves. God designed that would eventually be the person you love. Right? And only that person. romantically, sexually. But aside from that, love can be given to, not romantic love, but other forms of love can be given to any person and withdrawn at any time. Now, even can be given to your soulmate and withdrawn at any time. Because if it wasn't possible to do that, then it wouldn't be love anymore either. But when I say withdrawn at any time, not given to another necessarily, right? Just withdrawn. So your soulmate one day is allowed to go, I don't love you anymore. Of course, there must be reasons. And probably be wise to have a look at them. But particularly bearing in mind it's the other half of you, and God designed the other half of you to like you. So if they don't like you all of a sudden, and they did before, then you've got to look at it. Is it because you're changing positively, or is it because you're changing negatively? You know, what's the reason? You'd have to look at that. But even if that is true, at the end of the day, I can't demand my soulmate loves me, because it wouldn't be love anymore if I did. So the false belief that is the opposite of this belief is what's causing my pain. It's the reason for why I'm in pain. Make sense?
Yes.
This false belief is the reason why I'm in pain, because I'm breaking a fundamental law by believing it. I'm breaking the law of free will. I'm breaking that law of believing this. So that's why I'm in pain. I'm breaking a law. Every time you're in pain, it's because you repeat after me. Every time I break a law, I am sinning. And
I'm in pain.
I will be in pain. Guaranteed. Every time. Every time. Now, the most powerful laws to break are which?
Free will.
The laws associated with spiritual principles. Remember we said that Friday, right? Friday we said the laws associated with the spiritual principles. Love is a spiritual principle, is it not? It's the highest spiritual principle. You break a law associated with the highest spiritual principle, you're going to be in the most pain you can imagine. This is why love hurts. Because when you break the laws of love, right, this is why you believe love hurts. Obviously it's not true. You know, you break the laws of love, that is going to hurt the most. And this whole concept that love hurts, not true. The concept that's hurting me is that I am breaking the law of love. The law of love says people have free will, that they're allowed to withdraw love from me. I can't demand love. Love is a gift. Right? Can you see how I can focus on that and that and that and cry about that, and then create that, which is another false belief about love, and all that's going to do is make it worse. Because now I'm breaking another few laws about the soul and emotions and protection from the very thing that brings me happiness, which is love. You know, I've got so many false beliefs about love. I'm saying love hurts, but I'm also saying now I can protect myself from it. Right? You're not protecting yourself from it. You're harming yourself by trying to do that. Right? It's another false belief. Any false belief about love is going to hurt the most, because love is the highest spiritual principle. You follow? So the average person has a lot of false beliefs about love, and they're completely unwilling to examine them. Yeah?
That's why the soul aspiration is so important.
That's right.
Toward that,
Towards that.
examining.
Yeah, towards that. Particularly one principle. Can you see the spiritual principle of love? If you do not grasp the principles surrounding love, you are going to create for yourself the maximum amount of pain, because it's the highest principle, right? And a belief that you can protect yourself from it, and another belief that love actually hurts, which causes you to believe you should protect yourself from it. All of them are false beliefs, and so all of them are actually the cause of your pain about love.
And of course, that's just one false belief you've given there, that I can demand love, that might be driving the love hurts belief.
Yes, only one of many.
There's many that might be driving that belief that love hurts.
Like?
Well, it can be that we've mislabeled love, can't it? This is also very common.
Okay. My version.
What others taught me was love hurts.
Yep.
So I'm holding on to a version of love and saying that hurts. So that's love and it hurts. That's love and it hurts. That's love and it hurts. Instead of examining what is my version of love, is that really love?
Is my version of love hurting?
Yes. Because often our version of love does hurt,
Yeah.
but it's not love's fault.
Yes.
Yeah.
And can we put love in quotations? Because actually love never hurts. The actual truth is love never hurts. Ever, 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 never hurts. That's the truth. So if love is hurting me, it can't have been love. You understand? It must have been love, but it's over now. There's all this anguish, right, in the message. Yeah, it's hurting them. It wasn't love you're singing about. Does that make sense? Yeah. Because if you feel hurt by it, or the withdrawal of it, then it means it wasn't love anyway. Make sense? Now, I brought up that's just one belief. One. Just one belief about love. Just one. And remember, we've said to you many times, look, it's really wise for you to look at all your beliefs about love. Can you see why? Because if you don't look at them, this is what's going to happen. If we look at this prior diagram, if we don't access the truth about something, and we're not humble about the thing, and we don't understand what love actually is, then no soul aspiration is going to develop. And if that doesn't happen, then what are you left with? Your soul condition. It's going to just stay the same. And it will stay the same as long as your aspiration does not change. That's how long it will stay the same. So people often say, how long does it take for a spirit normally to make changes in the spirit world after they pass? And sometimes I give different examples, but the basic fundamental answer is until their soul aspiration changes. Now, for some people that's 10,000 years. Some people we know from the first century haven't changed yet. Other people it's like 1 or 2 years because they exercised an aspiration to change, right? And their aspiration was strong, so they decided to make the change. Right? So how long you stay in your current condition is completely determined by how long it takes for you to have an aspiration for a different condition.
It's great news.
It's great news. Isn't that good? Yeah, it's definitely good because you have control over how long. Yeah. So up the back, if we can have a mic.